It is often said that Jerusalem became a holy land that every Christian dreams of visiting at least once in their lifetime, because this is the place where Jesus was crucified on the cross. Even for those who are not religious, the image of Jesus suffering and being nailed to the cross remains one of the most familiar and powerful images in human history. But why crucifixion? It must be understood that crucifixion was an extremely brutal punishment in the Roman era, designed to publicly humiliate slaves or people of low social status, those whom the authorities wanted to crush. The condemned person was hung on a large wooden cross and eventually died from suffocation or total exhaustion. The process was prolonged and unimaginably painful. So why did Jesus have to endure this cruelest of executions? Was it because he challenged the supreme authority of the Roman Empire by being hailed as King of the Jews? Christians believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah, as described in the canonical Gospels and mentioned in the epistles and many other ancient sources. According to the New Testament, his arrest, trial, sentencing, and crucifixion and death form the heart of the Passion narrative. The account from the crucifixion to the resurrection of Jesus is the very foundation of the Christian faith. The historical fact that Jesus was crucified is not disputed by serious scholars. Historian John Dominic Crossan has pointed out that this event belongs to the category of facts that are multiply attested and most adversely attested. Paula Fredrickson has stated that the crucifixion of Jesus, by order of the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, is one of the most certain elements in his biography. After 3.5 years of public ministry, Jesus knew that his time on earth was coming to an end. The Jewish authorities were plotting to kill him, yet they feared the reaction of the crowds who regarded him as a prophet. Satan put the thought of betrayal into the heart of Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 apostles. The chief priest promised Judas 30 pieces of silver if he would hand Jesus over to them. On the last night before his death, Jesus gathered his apostles to celebrate the Passover meal. After Judas had left to carry out his betrayal, Jesus instituted a new rite, the Holy Eucharist, the Lord's Supper. He took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to the 11, saying, "This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, he took the cup of wine and said, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood." That night, Jesus spoke many things to his disciples. He gave them a new commandment. "Love one another as I have loved you. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples." He urged them not to let their hearts be troubled by the tragic events about to unfold, and he prayed earnestly for them. Then they sang a hymn together and went out to the Mount of Olives, to a garden called Gethsemane. There Jesus knelt and poured out his soul to the Father in anguished prayer. Soon afterward, a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent by the chief priests and including temple guards, arrived to arrest him. Judas approached and kissed Jesus. This was the agreed signal. When the soldiers seized Jesus, all the disciples fled in terror. Brought before the Jewish Sanhedrin, Jesus affirmed that he is the Son of God. The council charged him with blasphemy and condemned him to death. He was then sent to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Although Pilate found Jesus innocent, he yielded to the frenzied crowd and handed him over to be crucified. The reasons for Jesus' condemnation remain debated to this day. Primarily religious for the Jewish authorities, primarily political for the Romans, who saw him as a dangerous insurgent. According to the Gospels, Jesus was forced to carry his own cross to the place of execution called Golgotha, place of the skull. Along the way, when he could no longer bear the weight, the soldiers compelled a man named Simon of Cyrene to carry the cross for him. Several women followed, weeping for him. Jesus was crucified at about 9 in the morning, the third hour. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness covered the whole land. He breathed his last at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Someone offered him wine mixed with myrrh or gall to dull the pain, but he refused it. He was nailed to the cross, traditionally with 3 or 4 nails. The soldiers divided his garments by casting lots. 2 criminals were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Crucifixion was the most severe punishment in the Roman world, reserved mainly for slaves and rebels. Roman citizens, even when guilty of serious crimes, were granted the honor of beheading or were allowed to take their own lives. The fact that Jesus was crucified shows that the Romans treated him as a political criminal threatening the empire. The 4 canonical Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all describe Jesus' death in detail. Some early non-canonical texts, such as the Gospel of Thomas, do not mention the Passion, and certain Gnostic groups claim that Simon of Cyrene or someone else died in his place. In the Quran, Surah 4, 157-158, Islam denies that Jesus was crucified, stating that he was taken up to heaven by God and that someone else, made to resemble him, was crucified instead. For the vast majority of Christians, Jesus' death on the cross is the supreme act of self-giving love, the perfect sacrifice that atones for the sins of all humanity and is most pleasing to God. Throughout the Renaissance, 14th to 16th centuries, and continuing into the Baroque period, late 16th to 17th centuries, the scene of the deposition, taking the body of Jesus down from the cross, became one of the greatest and most technically challenging subjects for the master painters of the age.